Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I give you a behind the scenes look at a recent interview setup. I walk through all the lights and modifiers that were used. I also show you the results with and without a false color LUT applied. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so we just got on location for our shoot today. We have two carts set up. I have my camera cart here, and then I have my lighting cart here, my G&E cart. It went small because I don't need much, but I did bring a little extra just in case we need it. We have two FX6s here. This is 3 days of shooting. We're doing 2 days of interviews. So day one interview, day two B-roll, day three interviews. This is our space. Let's check it out. You can see how beautiful it is. This is probably the most attractive space I've ever shot in. So it's going to take zero effort to make it look good. I mean, the walls are amazing. The doors, the carpet, the ceiling, everything's perfect. So we're going to make it look like $1,000,000. Okay, I lied to you. It's a terrible space. But what I'm thinking is we're going to shoot in this direction. We have a window here, so we could utilize it. We have these tables, so I'm going to probably bring a table into play. We are shooting for a paramedic school, so they do have props like those dummies, defibrillators, their kits. Maybe we'll kind of play those in as like art department type thing, so we have some elements in the background rather than just a plain wall. But we'll shoot through the window. We'll take advantage of these blinds possibly, and then maybe do a pop of color from the other direction or do some kind of pattern or something to just liven it up a bit and make it more interesting. So let's get set up and cut to the time lapse. All right, guys, let's take a look at the lighting. So let's start off with the key light. We have an aperture 600x with a 150 light dome, big light dome, big soft source. We move over to here and we have a 600C Pro with a spotlight mount. And what we're doing is we want to create a little bit of an effect in the background because we have these plain walls. So let's follow me over to here and show you what we have going on. We're hoping to get some good streaks of light here from these blinds, but what happens is they're too fine, and when the subject is sitting down and the background blurs a little, it softens it up so much where it just looks solid. So we weren't really getting the effect we wanted. We did add these elements into here. This is my friend over here. He chokes a lot, so we got to pull stuff out, but we won't talk about that, you know. So that's what we have going on here. We added these elements to kind of liven it up a bit. The client helped us pick things out to kind of give it a little bit of life. We have a Amaran T2C with the 45-degree grid. Our 150 dome also has a grid. This helps with spill control so it doesn't just splash the wall. And then we come in here with an ultra bounce to give us our return from our key light, giving us a little bit of fill, and that's the combination we have going on right now. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna kill the overhead light. I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna show you what we have going on in the scene. So I'm gonna sit down now. This is what it looks like with all the lights off. Before we do anything, you can see there's some set design out here. We went ahead and added some props into the background to give it a little more life. And you can see the window is spilling a little bit of light in. We wanted to have the blinds creating some nice looks, but what happened is the lines were too fine and it ended up just blending together when the background is shallow. And blurred out because of the depth of field. So now let's look at what it looks like with just the overheads on. So this is the overhead lighting. This is what it looks like when you come into the space. It's not very appealing. It just doesn't have a good feel. It's just very toppy. You got really bad shadows under the eyes. It just doesn't look good overall. So let's go ahead and turn those off. Sorry, my clapper's a little delayed. All right, so what I'm gonna be using is I'm gonna be using the Sidus Link app, and I'm also going to be using the Hollyland app with my Pyro S. And what this is going to give me the ability to do is to see what I look like when I'm framing everything up and also when I'm lighting this scene. So what I'm going to start with is let's go ahead and see what the key light looks like. So I'm going to fire that up. Key light is on. Looks great. We have good light happening. Now, one of the main things that kind of didn't feel right about the location overall, which you've seen how it looked beforehand, is it's just the big white walls everywhere. White walls don't look good. We tried the slashes. From the light outside. We even put a light outside. It didn't really do what we wanted it to do, and we didn't want to open up the blinds and have to expose for those. We didn't have time to do ND as well. So this was actually sight unseen. Showed up this morning, and this is what we got. So now I'm going to show what I did to kind of liven up the background. We did an accent light right over here, and then we also did an accent light on the background. And what we did is we used a 36-degree spotlight on the Aperture 600C. So let's fire that guy up. So that's what that looks like. So it gives us a little life. And on the tight shot, you don't just have white over here. So it helps quite a bit to give it a good look. Now, is this perfect? Is this amazing? I think we did a really good job, and the client is really excited on how it looks. And I think it gives it just the right amount of boost overall. So let's go ahead and introduce a hair light and see if we get anything out of that. There we go. So now we have the hair light. So I'm going to look like I'm getting interviewed, and you can see how everything's playing. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the key light and show you what it looks like with just a hair light hitting me, edging me. Maybe I need to move back a little, but you know what? It starts getting into. These spots right here on my head, my receding hairline. I don't like that. I think just giving an edge and tapping on the shoulders looks really good. Let's remove the hair light now. And that's what it looks like with no hair light there. So it's giving it a little bit of light on the shoulder. It's hitting it just right, giving it a good effect overall. And then if we remove the background again, the accent lights, and go with everything off, this is what it looks like. And now let's just bring it all together. I'm going to look forward again and show you what it looks like if I was getting interviewed. So it all comes into place. So I have a bounce here, an ultra bounce, and I can move this in if I need it brighter or darker. It's just, I always prefer an ultra bounce or a negative. So a bounce or a negative over introducing another light. That's just my choice. We do have the 150 dome with the 2.5 stop diffusion with a grid on there to give us some control so we don't spill too much in the background, but we don't want the background to fall too dark. Now, something that we did have a little try at, but we didn't like, was we actually flipped the blinds the other way. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. It gets really dark. So I'm going to turn these the other way. Now, is that something that you like better? Do you want it that dark? That may be a look that you're going for, it may not. We ended up deciding to have it turned down on these versus them pointing up to give us just a little bit of light spilling into the space. All right. So there you go. This is where we're landing. This is what we went with. This is the first day of interviews. And then tomorrow, we're doing all B-roll, and then we get back to interviews. So we got to find another spot in this location to give us some more interviews. All right, everyone, let's jump into the comments. What do you think of this setup? What do you think of the look? What would you change? Also, we hit a very big milestone on the channel, 20,000 subscribers. Wow, that's amazing. I started this endeavor in April of 23 doing these vlogs and also behind the scenes videos, and it's been amazing. So thank you so much for everyone that supports the channel, especially the ones that have subscribed to the channel. It has helped me to get out over 70 videos, and it's also helped the channel get some sponsors. More sponsors mean more videos, and it keeps me motivated to keep going. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.